Hello Aries, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Aries, this week we're going to see how you've changed. So these are always interesting readings. We're kind of going to do that through fairies and archangels. So we're going to look at the then for you. What was the archangel that was kind of helping you, supporting you? What was the problem? And the fairy as well is going to kind of show us what issues or challenges you were facing then. And then we're going to look at now with the same type of cards. And then we are going to look at the lesson that you have not fully learned yet and the lesson that you have fully learned. I always find this a really interesting week. We're going to get started, as I said, with the Archangel deck. And we're going to see what we got for you, Aries. Okay, Aries, there's so much to say. So the first thing I want to say is I can see how you're transforming your own sort of, I guess, intuitive abilities, your own psychic abilities here. And we're also getting a story. There's quite a story here about how this is happening for you. That's not the only big thing, though, that, kind of like who you were then and who you are now. Actually, who you were then and who you are now have a great deal to do with how you're kind of guiding yourself in life. So this underline, I don't know if you noticed in the shuffle, but this is a very large angel underline. This is freaking huge, man. Like, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 archangels and your underline. That kind of just tells me like that this isn't a story of who you were then in terms of like last week. I feel like this is a story of who you were then in terms of maybe a few years ago, maybe months ago, for some of you, depending on how quickly you cycle through things and you learn stuff and you adapt. But okay, so what I want to say in like a tiny little nutshell, and then we're going to expand a lot beyond that, is that something that you have mastered here is spiritual understanding and clear cognizance. All right. So in that you have Archangel Raziel with spiritual understanding. I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. So this is, just somebody who's kind of connecting with signs and synchronicities. Gosh. And then, you hit enough of those and you think, okay, this is not a coincidence. There's something going on here. And then I love that clear cognizance comes in right after that. So Archangel Uriel, pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. So this, I want to say too, it's almost like certain signs and synchronicities that would have been going on in your life would produce certain ideas and thoughts and inspirations. And kind of realizing, oh, this is actually helping me through something, right? But it's using your mind as sort of an intuitive, opening it up as an intuitive gift. Now, so what's interesting is the lesson that's not fully learned, check this out, is clear sentience. So this is about your emotions and how you feel. So clear sentience, Archangel Raguel. Notice your reoccurring physical and emotional feelings as they are signifying divine guidance. So it's like literally you've gone through a lot, I want to say, in terms of, guiding yourself on a mental ability, and recognizing things. And it's there's almost, I want to say, like a little bit of a Virgo energy that I would see with this, is like understanding the patterns going on around you and what those mean, like picking up on the nuances of this. So what I want to say too is that I feel like you've applied this to relationships. I feel like you've applied this to relationships and seen things, like you've looked closely. It's almost, well, I think there's a choice that is made here in what I'm seeing. And like this transformation. Transformation is a really good way to describe what this is for you, which I mean, it kind of makes sense. Who you were then, who you are now. Okay. So the transformation this is interesting too, because this is the lesson you haven't fully learned. It's notice your reoccurring physical and emotional feelings. They are divine guidance. So it's how you feel about something. You know, I talk about that. Well, I talk about different types of ways that we use our, you know, all of us have psychic abilities in different ways. Some of us are a little more claircognizant than others. Some of us are a little more clairsentient than others. But this is, you may have the ability, actually you've produced that here. And like what I love that comes after it, you have career transition, moon cycles, and you know what to do. So, I mean, so some of you may have even made some major choices here. I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty talking. I had an adjustment just a few days ago, and I'm just finding when my lower teeth move, my tongue doesn't know what the hell to do. So just bear with me. You may have actually come to some sort of realizations about your own path, how things were shaping up for you, maybe in the career department. It's right here. And then really trusting, like cycles, like, okay, this is a cycle, maybe noticing this is a cycle that needs to close off. This cycle is not serving me anymore. Maybe finding a new job or a career path in that, like, and you just know what to do. So I want to say that you often are making choices that have good results for you. And some people may not even understand why you do that, but that's because you've tapped into this spiritual understanding and clear cognizance. But what you're working on here is your emotions. So there's going to be points and times where we need to lean on any one of these two, well, even more of our psychic abilities. Our whole body is like, it's a big organic system that's always giving us feedback about our environment and about how we are in that environment. And so this is the feeling part. Now, the transformation. So this is what you're doing. I want to say you're developing this. This fairy tells you to surrender to a transformation in your life that's happening for your highest good. Embrace your transformation. The best is yet to come. So what's really interesting about that right there, because this is the lesson that you haven't fully learned, is that you've likely gone through you have so many angels here. We are talking about a lot of changes and transformations in you. Like I said, I do not feel like I'm picking up on something that's like, you know, just a couple weeks ago and then who you are now. This is pretty major, like a major discussion for you. And I want to say that you may even be feeling like your best days are gone, but the best is actually yet to come. So it's almost like maybe your mind, I feel like that's what this is. There is probably something going on here between a battle with your clear cognizance and your clear sentience. And your clear sentience is the one that is guiding you and telling you the truth. Maybe you have a feeling, maybe you have like this deep feeling deep inside is like, you know what? I feel like the best is yet to come. And whatever that is, maybe it's your whole life. Maybe it's in relationships. Maybe it's in work. Maybe it's in a hobby that you've been trying to like really crack open and develop. I don't know. Maybe it's all of these things. Could be. But it's almost like your mind is saying, that doesn't make sense. Look at what has happened. Look at where you are. That's showing us that, like, you know, if we're looking at patterns, right? Very Virgo-ish. That sense that I'm getting here with the spiritual understanding and the clear cognizance. Well, you have the Queen of Pentacles is the card that comes in with that too. It's the lesson that you haven't fully learned. Oh my gosh, I think that's actually Virgo energy too. Wasn't that interesting? The practical is not always the answer. You know, what you see in front of you is not always what is really the truth. But you're learning that through emotions and through feelings. And how do you feel? What is your gut telling you? Come on. What is your gut telling you? And you're trying to, because the trick here too is because this is something that I feel like has probably served you in some capacity here. And it's showing up as well as the then and now, which I'm gonna talk about all of it, but I have to talk about the way it's just kind of flowing here. Okay, the rest of this underline, what was getting you to this spiritual understanding? Courage. That's the first step here. And this courage is interesting because be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. Now, if we're talking about the past, I feel like there's something here where I think it's where you apply this clear cognizance. Look at this. Okay. Comfort, I am with you. Archangel Azrael, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal and then flourish. So again, like this is something too that doesn't make me feel like, particularly when you see the tarot cards that have come out, doesn't make me feel like something that just happened in a couple of weeks or a few days. Flourish. The lotus flower fairy tells you to learn from experience and shed your inner light on any unclear areas of your life or those of others. So then you get with that, you get the Two of Cups, the Five of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. So this is like, to me, this is like showing a significant relationship for you. Okay, could be a friendship, it could be a lover, a partner, but the Five of Cups, like this ends kind of like I want to say with the Queen of Swords following that is the worst way possible. So it is recognizing things that are not clear in your life, but also those of others, and it's taking a step back, I want to say, with this energy and really trying to understand the pattern of what is going on. And it's almost as if when you understand the pattern and wow. Okay, so what I want to say, because there's something about, to me, this energy, any of these things, where you can't really tell somebody why. If somebody was observing your life and everything going on around it, you're making a major decision that to other people may not make sense. And it's because you're picking up on this, like there's more here than what others are seeing. There's more here than what others are feeling. And I'm getting with this too. So here's the thing, like, let's say everybody else looking at you in your life in some sort of relationship. It looks great. It looks like a great relationship, whether that's a friendship or something like more personal. And on the outside it could, but then let's say there's certain tiny things that the person in this relationship does, because we are talking about with this flourish card as well, that or those of others. Okay, so this is like, why does this not feel comfortable for me? And then you start realizing that it's not just you, it's something going on here, and it's often a nuance. There's probably some sort of nuance here. I want to say it could even be like very subtle, maybe gaslighting or sabotage, manipulation. But you see, that's when we go beyond. The logical thing here is, it could be anything. If this is in a workspace, it could be, well, this is my bread and butter. I need to stay here. But at the end of the day, there's something that you realize, this is not right. This is like, actually in the long run, this is detrimental to me. So that's where you make a decision, and you make a hard decision. Like, this is not an easy choice to make with the Five of Cups. And then the Queen of Swords is cutting it out, seeing it for what the fuck it really is, right? With the Queen of Swords. So there you go. And I don't know, for some of you, it could have had something to do with your job, because you have career transition. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. So I want to say too, it's like, well, this is not what I meant to be doing. Oh God, I was shown a funny meme that I saw like just a few days ago. It's like a Jennifer Aniston. She looks like her character from Friends, and she's got like, I'm taking my glasses off. She's got her hands like this. And I think it said, what did it say? Oh, those days when you do not get paid enough money to deal with these people. It's like, I thought that was funny, because I think that's like everybody's job at any given time. So it's just, so there could be something here like that. But then notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. You are tapping into something here that most people are not picking up on. You're tapping to, and I want to say like celestial bodies, like the moon itself is a celestial body. And I always like to say that it works in conjunction with us and the sun. And the sun is what everything rotates around and gives us life, gives us energy. The sun is gone. We're all kaput. We're all kaput. But there's truth in the sun. And to me, I want to say that the sun is it could even be like a very advanced form of some type of like life as well. I mean, in a sense, it's living in its own cosmic way. And then the moon reflects this truth to us in its own light. So like, right, you tap into something and then you know what the fuck to do. What to do. So Again, it could be something bigger. It could have been a marriage. It could have been a best friend. It could have been, I want to say like even the Two of Cups, like somewhere where you feel like whole, you connect with this. Could have been a place. And it could have even been just like recognizing that you're outgrowing it. So it's even being able to take a step outside of yourself and recognize that you're outgrowing something even. This is not suiting you. So, okay. So you be courageous and you stand up for your beliefs. And I feel like that is reflected over here somewhere, because this is standing up. So I cut my nails. I can't pick anything up. This is standing up. Well, this is where it happens with the Queen of Swords. This is like, you're making a hard decision here. You're making a really hard decision. And it right to have the Five of Cups and this Comfort card. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. And maybe even realizing, like sometimes when we pull away from something, I think it's like anything, like when you're in the middle of trauma, whatever that trauma is, if your house is burning and you're like grabbing your kids and your pets, just like get out of the house. But almost like that prolonged energy of like having that in your life somehow, whether that's in a relationship that's under the roof that you live in, or that's a relationship that you experience where you work every day, or like your neighborhood, whatever that could be. When you're in that trauma, you don't have a lot of time to think. You're thinking quickly and you're thinking on the fly. And I want to say it's often when we do tap into this. What's important to me? I don't give a shit about that piece of artwork. Where's the cat? Where's the kid? Like those are the things that you're going to grab. And that is not overthinking. It is just in the moment. But when you come out of that trauma, that thing that was causing the trauma, I feel like that's when you feel, oh my God, I have burns all over me. I didn't even realize. The smoke inhalation, well, now you need time to heal. And that's what you had there. And then it's flourishing and it's recognizing what is good for you and what is not good for you. What relationships are good for you and what relationships are not good for you. What environments are good for you and what environments are not. And it's like, you see the signs. It's so obvious. Look, I got burned in that house. Oh, well, we all do a little bit. You just put some cream on and it'll be okay. But then you end up scarred. Scars never go away. I got a few here. They don't go away. Sometimes you have to go into the next lifetime and not be born with a scar, right? I heard somebody say, actually, I think it was really interesting, that if you have like some birthmarks, like a significant birthmark on your body, that's supposed to be, we can never prove these things, but it's interesting to think about, that it's a point of physical trauma that caused your death in the past life. So I think, wow, that's interesting. I mean, I have one right here that's it's like a birthmark right there. And then it comes through. I can't see where it is. Oh, it comes through on the other side of my arm. It's almost like something went through my arm. And I think, man, maybe something did. Maybe something hit an artery. And I bled out and I died. Oh, I'm really, I don't see it. Get squeamish about blood. So it could be. So right? Like these are, like you might take a part of this trauma with you in the next life. But it's more like just like a birthmark. And then you have to work through these relationship things that you didn't address in this life. So I know I'm like, this is a lot, right? I always find these really fascinating. So I have a better week this week. I have more time so I can do these more in depth. Okay. So who you are now, which is interesting. It's really interesting because you know shit. You know a lot of shit after whatever this is that you've been through. Look at you've got the counselor card. You are a natural counselor. Oh my God, it's Azrael again. You have the same angel with you then that you have now. But it's almost like, okay, let's think about everything we learned here. Let's think about everything that we learned here that I helped you through in terms of healing your heart. Because when you heal your heart too, your mind and your heart communicate a little bit better with each other. You are a natural counselor and many people benefit from your guidance and your reassurance. Inspiration. Be prepared as you'll soon receive a visit from the Fairy of Inspiration. Come dusk or dawn, she can call at any time. But this is like who you are now. I feel like things around you inspire you. I feel like you're inspired when you have even a friend come up to you with a problem. Or there's somebody who's struggling with some sort of a relationship issue. Again, all the different relationship dynamics that we can have. And you have tarot cards that really support that as well. So I do want to say that this is almost I would describe this Doesn't have to be the only form of education you have, but there is definitely the sense of the school of hard knocks here, and like being able to apply that, and in a very inspiring way. It's like in a very inspiring way. So so this could be like, I want to say you could have a lot of words of wisdom to share with, if you're a parent, with your own kids, if you've got siblings, with your siblings, close friends, and you find a way kind of to inspire. Look at, damn, I literally cut my nails just before I did this. Justice, the Hierophant, and the Two of Wands. Right, so this is a counselor. I mean, maybe some of you are, like, maybe I'm looking at like a really big backstory here. Like maybe I'm even looking at something from your childhood in terms of these relationships. Maybe you've even become a counselor right now. Maybe you've become a counselor. Maybe you want to. Maybe you're a social worker or something like that. Because this too, like this actually feels very like you could be applying this in some sort of very technical or legal way. Like it's almost could even be somebody like in their calling. But why does it, see, this is what I'm curious about. Why is the Two of Wands there? Because that feels like that actually makes this even feel like a backstory. I feel like for some of you, it feels like you could have this, like what I've just described, and maybe even applied it somewhere, applied it in like a social worker form. Maybe, you know, applied it for your own kids. They've grown up, they're on their own, they're doing fine. Because this Two of Wands is like, it's looking out in terms of, well, now what? What's out there now? What's my projected future? Let's just say. It could be coming up with new ways to apply what you have in something that you are still in now. You know, I want to say the other thing too that I'm getting with this, because it's so significant to me that you have the best is yet to come. And that's the last sentence in the lesson that you haven't fully learned. So you may have just seen the darker side of people. A lot of different elements in that. It's funny. Actually, as I say that, it's reminding me of, I can't remember what it's called. It's just, I always have a morbid curiosity about criminals and the criminal mind and whatnot, and about different cases. And I watching this one because these are difficult cases that ended up getting solved. So I've only done the first one, and there was some guy who was using the train system through the US to like kill people. It was really horrible. And so local police were used, and then then obviously the federal department, which is the FBI. And the woman who was part of that, she like they're interviewing them years and years after. And she said, I don't remember if it was shortly after that case, or she just decided, she decided that she retired early. And she said, people asked her, like, why? You have such a great career. Like, why would you retire early? And she said, because I was so tired of always seeing the dark side of humanity and the horrible things that people did to each other. Because she said, when I wasn't in that, I was with my kids and I was living in, you didn't see those things, you know. And even if you're a police officer, you know, people who are police officers too, they do tend to get, you know, it takes a special type of person to keep their sanity after that and not see everybody as a potential criminal. But so just because of like what is here in terms of like disappointment, like in like some major relationships here, and maybe just in people in general, but the best is yet to come. So it's kind of like to take on the nuance of that FBI agent and just like, no, there's good things to come. Not everything is as bad as what, not everything is as bad as what I have seen, what I see now, and what I'll see in the future. All right, so, okay, so you take courage here. You're going to be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. And then you hit prosperity. Your material needs are provided. And whatever that means. I want to say your material needs are provided. Isn't that funny? You're getting these angels. Like, I'm going to say how often that happens. You have Uriel twice here. And then, but it's funny when they come like, boom, one after another. Because now you have Ariel helping you be courageous. You do that, Ariel's going to give you what you need. When I say prosperity, I don't know. I mean, you're not necessarily like swimming in wealth, but you're going to get what you need, okay? You're going to get what you need, particularly if you're making some sort of major life change in some way here. Your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. So that is what you're doing here. This is like a bigger story in that, Aries. And the first step for you, I feel like, was the clear cognizance. And what you're... Now, it's not that you haven't learned a lot about your clear sentience, like how you feel, what your feelings tell you about something. You're still mastering it, okay? You're still mastering it. And I do feel like it has a lot to do with believing that you have, I mean, whatever stage of life that you're in, that the best years are still to come for you. Oh yeah, then you go outdoors with Archangel Jophiel. Go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. That's actually like just taking a breath from life, it feels like. Taking like a deep breath, maybe even incorporating more outdoor time for yourself in some way here. And in that, it's almost like even nature talking to you with the spiritual understanding coming in there. Sorry, it's so humid here today, and it's not warm enough to have the air conditioning on. So it's like the house is sticky. All right, then we talked about this. Okay, that's the underline, but I've incorporated it into... Oh, now I understand what the underline is for your tarot. Because you have the Queen of Cups, but then the Eight of Swords comes in front of it. And the Queen of Cups is about like how we feel. Our feelings, our emotions. Okay, part of me feels like it's not trusting it. Well, and I guess you could say not believing in it, not trusting how you feel about something, not trusting how you feel about something, not trusting how you feel about like someone or people fully. And not to say that you aren't using it, because it's in the not fully learned. So you're still, now that makes, oh, sorry. The Eight of Swords just flung the Queen of Cups right off the table. Okay. The lesson that you have fully learned. Well, this is interesting. Life review. So, and I said this is almost like that. Like for some of you, this could have been like even your childhood. We're talking way back on. And it inspired you to be something that you are now. Okay. Life review. Archangel Jeremiah. Take inventory of your life and resolve to change or heal anything that is unbalanced. See, again, that is kind of that Virgo energy, like taking inventory, doing a stock count, or it's just like noticing the patterns. So you've mastered that. You could, but then new beginnings. The fairy godmother heralds the joyous news of a new baby or the birth of a cherished idea. Protect and nurture your ideas as you would a baby. So I want to say too, because you had the moon cycles that were coming in as an underline, so you understand cycles. But I feel like you don't, I don't know, feel like, yeah, okay, I know I got a new cycle. I've done a life review here. I kind of get what's going on, but there's something here about not believing that the best is yet to come. And you feel that. You've got to feel it. You've got to feel it in some way here, if this reading is resonating for you. But I feel like you're not trusting, or you're not looking at it with the Eight of Swords. Or you don't want to look at what your feelings tell you sometimes. And what I love here is the Page of Cups. You can, okay, small hopes. Small hope. You've mastered small hopes. There you go. Small hopes. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. That's my air filter. Do you hear that? Background? I got two of them. I got one for my mom too. Because I know it's going to be a bad year for forest fires here. And I'm really glad that she took the one that I got her, because it's been bad where she is. She's about an hour and a half. An hour and a half? Yeah, an hour and a half from Ottawa. She's about an hour and a half west of Ottawa, and the smoke got really bad up there again. And I think mine's going off. See, it's cool. It just like sits, and it's constantly, it's got like a screen filter, it's got a charcoal filter, and it has a HEPA filter. And it has, it just monitors the air. So it's always just like, you can't even hear it when it's just like running really low, but then it monitors. And if there's some sort of particulate in the air, it's probably like pollen and dust, because I have all the windows open. The little blue light turns to purple and the fan ramps up a bit. That was red. That must have been red. So Lily, sometimes Lily walked by and she farted once and she set it right off. Like, oh, detected that, Lily. Okay. What do I need to clarify here, actually? I don't know. I don't even know. Actually, your past, I don't need to. I'm curious, though. This is the one area here, and maybe even your Queen of Pentacles. This here, this is, because this falls in. It's like, well, what do you do with that now? I don't know. Inspiration. Maybe you're even looking for inspiration. Always like finding a new way to inspire through the things that you've learned. Maybe some of you incorporate this into art somehow too, like very creatively. The Justice card. The Tower. The Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. Wow. Oh, this is, I don't know if this is something you don't want to look at. The Tower. We are now. It's almost like a mess. You don't want to look at a mess. Like, what would this be? The Tower and the Three of Pentacles. It feels like a mess. Like, and it could be like a mess in terms of like something collaborative where people are working together, but you don't want to look at that. Swords. But that's justice. It's like, don't look at that. So it's also recognizing what is yours and what is not yours. What is yours to deal with? What is not yours to deal with? You know, maybe you have family dynamic or friend dynamics where maybe two friends don't get along and they want, oh, do you not believe what they did to me? And like, you both got like, oh, I'm not involved in that. I'm sorry. You guys work it out on your own here. Okay, the Hierophant. The High Priestess. So immediately I want to say it's you like utilizing what the universe tells you. You're like, I don't know why, but I just know. So, and it's the Five of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. I'm going to tell you, I cannot pick up freaking cards today. So I'm going to tell you, there's something here about, right? Distancing yourself from something. And that gives you small hopes. Oh, shit. So I don't know what you've done here, like in the present, but it's helped you master something that has to do with a new beginning for you. It's small hopes in another direction. Don't know, the universe just told you. And you're like, yeah, I agree. But yeah, so, okay, so that makes sense because if you've mastered small hopes, I see how this is coming in to really mastering your emotional guidance system. You're going to grow on this. So maybe because you have the Queen of Pentacles, it's more like about nurturing. Like nurturing that, nurturing your transformation. So the Two of Wands makes a little more sense now. The Two of Wands. Oh, this is why. Look at this. You've got the Nine of Swords and the Six of Wands because the guidance system is no longer about using your clear cognizance. It's your clear sentience that is the important factor now. You're not going to get signs and synchronicities through visual cues, through things that you understand through the mind. This is all going to be about you developing your emotional guidance system right now. So it's getting success, like finding success beyond finding dreams beyond what your mind tells you. There you go. Finding dreams beyond what your mind tells you. Because your mind tells you it's a shitstorm out there. Actually, as I said that, like a different guidance system, I picture somebody using like a certain guide. I don't know what would be used just on a boat. What do you use on a boat? I'm kind of feeling like you'd use compasses and stuff, but I could be wrong. I feel like there's something there that was shown, and I don't even know. So I don't know. I feel like my guides are trying to show me something that I don't know enough about. But it's almost like having like some sort of system to guide you on the water. But actually, no, this is more like you've been on the land, right? And yeah, okay. It's like you're walking around with a compass in your pocket. I'm just going to go with that. I feel like there's something else, but I mean, compass would work, I guess. I don't know. But like, right, if you're walking on the land, you remember the markers on the land. Oh, that tree does this and that rock does this. But then you get onto the boat and that's where you're going. Like just kind of, but you have to walk out there. You have to wade out there up to your knees a little bit into the water. And you get out into the boat and, well, now it's right. You're out in the ocean. There are no markers. There are no visual cues. Now you have to use the guide. Now you have to pull out the compass in you. Okay. Right. And that's your key to success. So the Queen of Pentacles with what you've not fully learned, clear sentience and transformation. Maybe you're not too sure that your next path, because you have any beginnings here. You're producing that. And your little bit of hope brought you there. So you have to trust in that. Oh, the 10 of Wands. It's interesting because she's looking back at all of this, like everything that I've talked about in the reading. And it's the weight of all of that responsibility. This has a feeling too, I want to say there's something about, I don't know why they've been coming up in feeds for me, but I find them hilarious and so relatable, being like a Generation X. Because everybody jokes about Generation X, right? Like we're just kind of like, the lives that we had as children are very different from like baby boomers and the millennials. Like everybody was like looking after them. Although I want to say the baby boomers, well, yeah, actually, no, because that's not the war generation. But there's something here about like having gone through life and having like a lot of responsibility, a lot of weighted responsibility. Like the way she's looking back on all of that. And it's practical. And with the Queen of Pentacles too, like if you were ever running a business, it always had to be you to make sure that the payroll got done. Or it always had to be you to make sure the accountant got the figures that they needed. Or it always had to be you to make sure somebody was there at 8 o'clock in the morning to make sure the workers could get in on time. Like, and if it was like families and relationships, even, I want to say too, like, even if you know, in your own childhood, maybe you were like, oh, I have to look after my parents, or my dad or my mom is irresponsible. I have to look after them. Or you had siblings and you felt like the weight of that. And if you were in like committed relationships, it's like, wow, all of this stuff. I don't know. What can you say? Like the Queen of Pentacles with the 10 of Wands, like this burden. So that's why your mind can't tell you what your future is, because your mind is being logical here, and it's obviously really good at picking up patterns, and those it's like a pattern for you, right? So the Page of Cups with life review and new beginnings. You've mastered this. You can look back on your life, understand all the cyclical nature of it. Have small hopes. Oh my gosh. You got the Queen of Cups and the Four of Swords. I think it's beautiful. So you know what? You are on your way to mastering. You absolutely are into this clear sentience. But yeah, you're going to have to just put the mind away a little bit. I want to see what this one is. Wait for winter. This underline, I didn't talk about that. The Wait for Winter card. During the colder months, the Fairy Queen of Winter will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes, as long as your intentions are for the highest good of all. I want to say there's got to be a sense here of the highest good for yourself too, like believing in that the best is yet to come. So maybe that's a problem. Maybe you're like always just waiting for winter, always waiting for the last shoe to drop, always waiting for, I mean, not always, but a stage that you're going through, a stage that you're coming out is causing you to kind of feel like that. Wait for winter. You have judgment. The Seven of Pentacles. I don't want to get too into, I want to see what this is. Wait for winter. Right, because you got the Eight of Swords. It is. It's always like, no. The Ace of Pentacles. You all have a new beginning coming. Oh, maybe you have a new beginning coming in the winter. Well, if you're watching this in November, it's not so bad, no, is it? Oh, look, the the Five of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Oh, you left that puppy there to rest. So, and moving away from major endings. Major endings. There you go. That's how you've changed, Aries, in a giant nutshell. Oh, I'm going to go do the extended. I forgot about that. What are we doing in the extended? We are going to look at, okay, we're going to look at like how you're changing and transforming. And then we're also going to look at like the future you. It's pretty interesting. Like the future guides that you have and all that sort of shit. So there you go. Thank you so much, Aries. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.